Chapter 5 is about production process. So Fauzan has a farm, produces tomatoes. He sets up the farm to get maximum profit. So production is related to supply curve. So what's important in this chapter? 2 points. Number one, the opportunity cost, which already explained in chapter 1, and the case study related to production. So we will start with introduction, the behavior of Fauzan, the behavior of a firm willing to maximize the profit. What is the production? Fauzan.
Production, the process by which inputs are combined, transformed, and turned into outputs.
Okay, so in very easy way, what is a production? So Fauzan hired some inputs, labor, capital, and land, combine, transform, turn them into output, which is tomatoes. So he uses inputs to produce tomatoes. He uses land, capital, labor to produce tomatoes. What is firm, Fauzan?
Firm, an organization that comes into being when a person or a group of people decides to produce a good or service to meet a perceived demand. Most firms exist to make a profit.
Okay, so Fauzan with Amr Qaidi decided to produce tomatoes because they understood there is a real demand or perceived demand on tomatoes. They set up this business to get a profit. So the profit will be their income. Perfect competition is important. For this reason, I say tomatoes. So tomatoes market is a good example of perfect competition. What is perfect competition in Arabic? المنافسة الكاملة. المنافسة الكاملة. عامر قايدي, could you read perfect competition?
Yes, Mr. Sure. Perfect competition, an industry structure in which there are many firms, each is more relative to the industry, producing virtually identical products and in which no firm is large enough to have any control over prices. In perfectly competitive industries, new competitors can freely enter and exit the market.
Okay, so see here, perfect competition is an industry or market structure. Keep in your mind, we are talking about tomatoes market. In tomatoes market, there are too many sellers, too many producers of tomatoes. Each one, such as Fauzan. Fauzan is small relative to the whole tomatoes market. So Fauzan produces 10 boxes, 20 boxes. So this amount is so small relative to the whole industry. Each one produces identical tomatoes. So Salim as a customer cannot distinguish between tomatoes produced by Fauzan and other producers. Since there is no firm is large enough, so no one has control over prices. So Fauzan is small, producing tomatoes which is similar to others. There are many other producers of tomatoes, so Fauzan has no control over prices. Fauzan is a price taker. He accepts the equilibrium price. In tomatoes market, new competitors, new investors can freely and easily enter the market. And the existing investors such as Fozan can easily exit the industry. So again, what is perfect competition? We are talking about tomatoes market. Fozan is small. There are too many producers, each one producing similar tomatoes. It's so easy to enter and leave the industry. There are no barriers. Each one producing homogeneous product. So, Amr Qaidi, homogeneous?
Yes, Mr. Homogeneous products, undifferentiated products, products that are identical to or indistinguishable from one another.
Okay. So, I'm talking about tomatoes. So, tomatoes is homogeneous product, undifferentiated, or it is identical or indistinguishable. What I mean? Fozan produces tomatoes similar to other producers. So Salim, as a customer, I cannot differentiate or distinguish between tomatoes produced by Fozan and others. For this reason, Fozan cannot charge extra price, cannot add extra 10 fills. So if there is one supermarket increase the price of Coca-Cola, I can go to next door supermarket and purchase the same Coca-Cola at regular price. So a single supermarket cannot increase the price of Coca-Cola because there are so many supermarkets selling the same product. Do you know, when later we will talk about cases different than perfect competition. So we are still with perfect competition. Panel A from chapter 4, panel B from chapter 5. So this is the whole market, panel A. This is market demand curve for tomatoes, market supply curve for tomatoes. They intersect and determine equilibrium price. At the equilibrium price, we can read at the equilibrium point, we can read the equilibrium price. So the equilibrium price per kilo of tomatoes is 2.45, 2 dirhams 45 fils. Let's talk about Fozan. Fozan is a representative, perfectly competitive firm. So Fozan has a farm operating in perfect competition market or in tomatoes market. He faces a demand curve, which is a straight line parallel to the quantity axis. He can sell 10 boxes or even 20 boxes at the equilibrium price. This amount is so small relative to the industry. Fozan cannot increase the price by 10 fills. If he increases the price by 10 fills, the quantity demanded from him will drop from 20 boxes to 0. For this reason, we say demand curve is perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic. The demand curve is a straight line parallel to the quantity axis at the equilibrium price. This curve is important. So you will see this curve in the final exam. So also when I explained chapter 4, I said this curve is important. So panel A from chapter 3, demand, supply and market equilibrium. Panel B from chapter 4, the elasticities. So this is the whole story about the whole microeconomics till the end of the semester. Market structures, perfect competition, such as tomatoes market. Monopoly, احتكار, such as electricity market. Oligopoly, احتكار القلة, such as telecommunication market, which is operated by Etisalat and Do. monopolistic competition المنافسة الاحتكارية such as hotel market in Dubai. So we have in general 4 different structures of market. Tomatoes market, electricity, telecommunication, hotels. Only tomatoes we can call it perfect competition. There is a case study about Al-Aware market which is related to perfect competition because it is vegetable. So this is a summary of the whole microeconomics, but maybe I will get the opportunity to give more explanation later. Let's start with monopoly. We have one firm called SIWA, Sharjah Electricity Authority. No one competes SIWA, and it is impossible to enter the industry. It's controlled by the government, and SIWA can set the price, can determine the price. It's only the one operating in the electricity market in Sharjah. Oligopoly telecommunication market. A few producers. In telecommunication market in UAE, we have Etisalat and 2 producers. They don't compete through prices. They compete through a quality, brand, advertisements. Because if Etisalat decreases the price, do will follow Etisalat. So both of them will be loser. It is difficult to enter the market because they got special license from the government, or this kind of investment needs sophisticated technology and a huge amount of money. Monopolistic competition. Hotel market. Why I say hotel market? Because there is a case study about hotel market in Dubai. We have many producers. They compete each other through advertisement, quality, differentiation, branding, not over the prices, sometimes over the prices. But it's better for them to compete through quality. It is somehow easy entry, not so easy, but we can't say easy entry. So Abdurrahman Hisham can enter into hotel market, can rent a building and decorated licensed as a hotel, whether 1-star or 5-star. So a producer in monopolistic competition or hotel market can make the price, somehow can make the price, not as monopoly. Perfect competition, tomatoes market. We have too many producers. They are sensitive to price competition. They are so sensitive to price competition. It is easy entry. It is free entry. It's so easy. There is no huge amount of capital. There is no secret in technology. The technology is quite easy. So Fawzan, who operates in perfect competition, he is a price taker and faces perfectly elastic demand curve. Think about perfectly elastic demand curve as a straight line parallel to the quantity axis at equilibrium of price. Let's give a little more information. In perfect competition, we have too many producers. In monopolistic competition, we have many producers. In oligopoly, we have a few, such as Etisalat and Do. In monopoly, we have one producer. And as we move from perfect competition to monopoly, the market power will increase. So for me, I consider perfect competition as efficient market. The profit opportunities can be eliminated immediately because new investors can enter easily to the market. And the extreme is monopoly. So imagine about, now we talk about Facebook, about Bill Gates, about Microsoft, because of their monopolistic power, can gain billions of dollars as a profit. So thank you Fozan, thank you Amr Qaidi. Aisha, could you help me?
Yes, Doctor.
Profit?
Profit and income cost. Profit, income, profit, the difference between total revenue and total cost.
Okay, so
agent.
so if I sold my tomatoes at 50 and I paid 30 as cost, my profit will be 20. What is total revenue with Aisha?
The amount received from the sale of the product.
So what is total revenue or sales? So Fozan produced and sold 10 kilos. He sold each kilo at 5 dirhams. So his total revenue will be 50 dirhams. So total cost, we will add a term, we say economic cost. Economic cost is better than accounting cost because it will improve the economic analysis. Aisha.
Total cost, total economy cost, the total of one out of pocket cost, two normal rate of return on capital, and three
Opportunity.
Cost of each factory of production.
Okay, so to calculate economic cost, you should consider economic cost. Economic cost includes out-of-pocket cost, which is accounting cost, explicit cost. For example, Fozan paid wages and rent. This is explicit cost. And in economics, we have to add two parts: normal rate of return on capital and opportunity cost. What the meaning of both in this slide? This slide is very important. Pay attention to my explanation. So this slide is very important. Aisha, opportunity. Let me, before Aisha, let me explain this example. So Amr Qaidi has a shop selling belts. He sold 3,000 belts at $10. So his total revenue, 30,000. What is the cost? He purchased belts from somebody, 15,000. He paid wages to his worker, 14,000. So here we add normal rate of return or opportunity cost to get economic profit. So what is the opportunity cost with Aisha?
Of something is measured by the next best alternative that we forgo or give up when we make a choice or a decision.
Okay, so what is opportunity cost? See here, assume Amr Qaidi got an offer to work in a bank with a salary of $2,000. But he decided to give up, to forego this option and sit and serve his business. So we have to estimate an opportunity cost of using this labor force. I mean, Amr serve his business. So what is the opportunity cost of labor force? The best alternative. The best alternative, the offer he got from the bank, which is equals to $2,000. So now, if Amr Qaidi serves his business, we have to estimate the opportunity cost of the labor force. What is the cost of using Amr Qaidi in this project? Equal to the best alternative 2000. What is normal rate of return on capital? In Arabic, معدل العائد الطبيعي على رأس المال. عايشة.
A rate of return on capital that is just sufficient to keep owner and investor satisfied for relatively risk-free firm. It should be nearly the same as the interest rate on risk-free government bonds.
Okay. So assume Amr Qaidi has $20,000 and the safe investment, the risk-free investment to purchase government bonds, سندات حكومية. He will get interest. If the interest rate is 10%, so 20,000 times 10% equals $2,000. So he can earn $2,000. Instead, he decided to invest this money to set up this business. So we have to add normal rate of return on capital as a cost. So in this case, using his money is not free. So it incur a cost. So he has to estimate a cost for using his own money. The cost of using his own money equal to the return if he invested in government bonds. So and then we calculated the profit. As you see, he got minus 1,000. He got a loss. So this project is not good. It's better to cancel this project and invest the money in government bonds. He can put in his pocket 2,000. But with this project, he lose $1,000. So adding the opportunity cost or normal rate of return on capital can enrich the economic analysis. We can discover the effectiveness of the project. So this is last slide for today. Abdulrahman?
Yes, Doctor.
Short run?
Short run versus long run decisions. Short run, the period of time for which two conditions hold. The firm is operating under a fixed scale, fixed factor of production, and firms can neither enter nor exit an industry.
Okay, so what is the short run? So assume Abdulrahman has a hotel in Sharjah and there is a festival. So in the short run, the number of rooms is fixed. He cannot increase the number of rooms. And it's not easy to enter or leave the industry. So in the short run, capital is fixed. The size of the project is fixed. So he can increase the number of workers. And since he signed a contract to rent the building, he cannot exit the industry. And new investors cannot enter the industry to create a building, license it, furnish it to be a hotel. What is long run, Abdulrahman?
Long run, that period of time for which there are no fixed factors of production. Firms can increase or decrease the scale of operation, and new firms can enter, and existing firms can exit the industry.
Okay. So see here, in the long run, Abdulrahman has enough time to build a new building, rent a new building, decorate it, license it, furnish it to be another branch for his hotel. He can leave the industry. New investors can enter the industry. So I have a building, for example, a residential building, housing building, I can turn it into a hotel. So in the long run, there is no fixed factors of production. Capital and labor are variable, while in the short run, capital is fixed, while labor is variable.